Hi, welcome back to Unlock Your Knowledge Needs. In this video, we will be discussing about the basic elements of a circuit like branches, nodes, mesh, and loop. Okay, so what do we mean by a branch? Any path in which a current is flowing with an element is called as branch. The branch may have one or more elements where the current is common in that particular path. Okay, so according to that statement, let us see here that this is a branch. Similarly, this is another branch. So we can see that in this particular branch we have two elements connected together and the same current is going to flow. And on the other side, in this branch, we can see that we have only one element and the current will be flowing through the element. So the basic definition or basic terminology branch, which means that a path that has one or more components with current flowing through it is called as a branch. Second, let us talk about loops. When a closed path is being created for the current to flow, then we call it as a loop. When a closed path for a current to flow is created, then it is called as a loop. A loop may be created by combining two or more meshes. Okay, so now mesh comes into the play. What do we mean by a mesh? A mesh, which means that a path or a closed path with more than n number of elements for the current to flow. A closed path for a current to flow is a mesh. Okay, a loop, which means that it is also a closed path for a current to flow. But we can combine two possible meshes to create a loop. We can combine two possible meshes to create a loop. Okay, so let us talk about mesh first and then we will go into loops. So let us name the terminologies. So let us name A, B, C and D. All right, E, F, G, H. Okay, so we have given terminologies. Now we shall start with the mesh first for defining what does it mean by a mesh. First we can talk right from A. So A, B, D, F back to A. So A, B, D, F back to A. Second is B, C, E, D back to B. B, C, E, D back to B. And then A, B, C, H, G. A, B, C, H, G. So in this all three, we can see that no point of index, which means that no terminologies that we have specified is crossed twice except the starting and ending, because a closed loop, which means it should start and end at the same point. Apart from that, we are not crossing any branch. We are not having current splitting. Okay, so a current that is flowing inside A, B, D, F, A will be constant. Similarly, the current flowing between or within B, C, E, D, B will be constant. So This is called as a mesh. Similarly, what do we mean by a loop? A loop, which means that all these three can also be called as loop. Apart from that, these three can be combined together. Possible combinations can be given in such a way that they can also form a closed path. In that aspect, we can see for additional loops as A, B, C, E, D, F. Similarly, A, G, H, C, B, D, F, A. And one more is like A, G, H, C, E, F, so D, D, F, and A. And one more is B, A, G, H, C, E, D. So in total, we can define like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7. Okay. Apart from these are called loops and meshes. So what is the difference between a loop and a mesh? A mesh is a closed path which doesn't have sub-mesh or sub-loop. A loop is a closed path where sub-loops can also be created. Okay. So now let us discuss about node. So now let us discuss about node. So when we talk about node, we can classify the nodes into two types basically. One is usable active node and inactive node. Another one classification is like reference node and non-reference node. So first let us count the nodes, define the nodes we have. First node over here, second node over here, third, fourth, and fifth. So we have 5 different nodes. So basically, what is the definition of a node? A point of connection between two elements is called as a node. A point of connection between two elements is called as a node. Okay, so now based on this, we can define what does it mean by a active node and inactive node. Active node, which means that a node that can be used for analysis. An inactive node, which means that a node we basically neglect while analysis. We don't say that it is not in action, we say that we are neglecting the presence of that node while we are doing analysis. In that aspect, we can say that this is an active node, this is an active node, this is an active node, and this is an active node. Why we are supposed to skip this part? So we are skipping this node that is connecting V2 and R1 is because there is no current getting branched up. There is no current getting branched up. And that is the reason why we are skipping that particular node. And the remaining all 3 nodes, we are having current branchings. Okay, so this is consideration for active and inactive nodes. Okay, now we can skip this node for our analytical part. Now we get into reference and non-reference node. So whenever we consider a potential measurement, we need two terminals, positive terminal and negative terminal, or higher potential terminal and lower potential terminal. So the negative terminal or lower potential terminal is called as reference node. So that is going to be common point of contact to all the other nodes. In that aspect, we can see this as a reference node which has common point of contact to node here, over here, and over here. All three nodes, all three active nodes can be communicated or can be reached by one point called as reference node. And so these nodes are called as non-reference node. This is another non-reference node and again a non-reference node. Okay, so these are the specifications for reference nodes. So now I hope you should have a clear idea about branch, mesh, loop, and node. Well, thank you. Keep watching and keep getting understanding and updates on network theory. Thank you. All the best.